for joining us today to hear about important insurance topics when buying and selling in Sun City Hilton Head. Let's meet today's panel.
Hello, and welcome to Howard Hanna's Plain Talk about insurance. My name is Carl Greigel. I am a realtor based here in the Okeechobee Sun City office, and I both have sold and bought homes in Sun City for my clients. We have Pam Bruder, who is a resident of Sun City and also a realtor. She's bought her own. She's sold homes with clients, and she's helped people move successfully to their new adventures here in Sun City. And we have a special guest today, Karen Shelnut, our insurance professional. Karen, tell us a little bit about you.
I am a Howard Hanna Insurance employee. I am partnered with the Hilton Head Sun City Realtors of Howard Hanna. I have been in the business now for 43 years, and I have been working with coastal South Carolina since 1984.
Perfect. So over the next 7 minutes, we are going to talk about 7 things really quickly. The first thing is Howard Hanna, as a real estate agency, has a relationship with Howard Hanna Insurance. We are glad to work with them. They are an independent agency that has multiple carriers and multiple products. Karen here is a licensed agent, and she is a resource for our clients, both during the buying and selling process, but also importantly on an annual basis to potentially get an insurance checkup to make sure that their policies and their coverages are in place. Our focus today, though, is for buyers and sellers. There's a couple of things when you look at buying and selling in Sun City that sometimes catch people off guard. The first thing we're going to talk about, the S word, stucco. Pam, you've worked with a couple buyers and sellers, as have I, that have dealt with stucco. Why is understanding stucco important in Sun City here in Hilton Head?
Well, Carl, the stucco, we have, as a seller, you'd want a stucco inspection prior to listing your home, if possible, so that you can determine if there's any issues, because sometimes there's water intrusion or what can cause, mold or rotting around window frames, things like that. So you'll want to have that prior to say, yes, I have a clean stucco report. You have to have a certain inspector that is a stucco inspector. And that way you can provide that as a benefit for selling your home. As a buyer, you also want to ask for a clean stucco report or note that the stucco has been fixed, prior to purchasing the home.
So stucco, there's not stucco on every house in Sun City. So buyers and sellers, there's also vinyl siding. There's also concrete or hardy plank, which is the trade name, but it's a composite siding. Every house, though, in Sun City, I see Karen nodding, has one of these, and it's a roof. Karen, talk to us about roofs and what is important for both buyers and sellers to understand, in particular around the insurance for roofs.
So in the insurance industry, the age of a roof makes it insurable to be replaced, to be insured at all, or to be insured at actual cash value, diminishing what the company will pay out based on the age of the roof. Architectural shingles, most companies will insure up to 20 years without any problems to replace it in the event of a covered loss. 3-tab composite shingles, usually up to 15 years. Once the roofs reach an age older than this, most insurance companies will choose not to insure, or they'll actually exclude coverage for the home in the event of a covered insurance loss.
So roofs, we talked about stucco. Let's talk about something that makes home where you want to enjoy hot water heaters. And when you look at Sun City, you've got both tanked and tankless hot water heaters. The age of a hot water heater is important, as well as the type. Let's talk about tanked hot water heaters. We've all seen those. They look like a giant tank in the corner. Some joke that it could be a missile if it explodes. That's not the big worry. The worry is leaks. Leaks from the bottom, water being discharged out from the bottom because they rot and rust. Newer tanked hot water heaters, those are built with a polymer composite and they are less likely to leak, but you do have some older ones here on the property. Karen, talk about hot water heaters, both tanked and tankless, because I hear there's some advantages to a tankless.
Most insurance companies will give you a discount for the fact you have a tankless hot water heater because there is not the opportunity for it to rust out and have a water-related claim that the insurance company is going to have to pay out on. Some companies will say once a hot water heater that is a tank one is 20 years old or 15 years old, they will no longer insure a home because they have a fear that it is going to rust out and then we're going to have a large water claim. Most of the time we tell folks by the time it reaches 15 years of age, it really should be replaced. There's so many chemicals in the water out there today that are eating away at the components, and that's part of the reasons they really should be changed out. Plus, the newer ones are much more energy efficient.
That makes sense. Pam, I know when you moved down from the north, as did I, we were north of the Mason-Dixon line, and one of the things we learned about were termites. Can you talk about the CL100 and how that is important for both sellers and buyers?
Yes, as most people know in the north, up north, you don't really deal too much with termites. Down here, because it's humid and the climate, it's required that a CL 100 or a termite inspection is done prior to selling the home. And it's ordered by the attorney, and a termite inspector will go in and determine if there's any issues. They'll look for different signs of termite or termite damage. And you have to have a clean termite inspection, or it has to be fixed prior to closing.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that most people don't realize, it's designed to protect the consumer because what's happening is often behind the drywall, behind some board or some type of wainscoting. Understanding what's happening behind the wall through the CL100 is critically important. And I know there's another element to that, Karen, the termite bond. Talk to me about maintaining the termite bond.
So I know a lot of folks think it's a lot of money to keep it up every year, and once they have a clean bill of health, they're okay. But it's not. Damage can occur at any point in time. And if this does occur, an insurance company specifically excludes the coverage for the damage done by termites. And if you have a termite bond, usually that will be enough to cover the damage that has been caused by the termites so that you're not out of pocket.
Good to know. Let's talk about another facet of the water delivery system in the home, the type of piping that homes have. Many people are very familiar with copper pipes and other metal pipes. You see different types of plastic, be it PEX, CVPC, PVC, as well as polybutylene. Talk a little bit about that. And importantly, Karen, what is both acceptable and not acceptable with an insurance situation?
So polybutylene is the worst in the industry. It is a gray plastic pipe, normally from about 1978 through 1995, 1996, when they stopped manufacturing it. But it is a plastic pipe that breaks down from the chemicals in the water, and it is known to have pops and leaks. So you can all of a sudden have water shooting through the sheetrock, coming up from slab, and the insurance industry, 99% of the companies have chosen no longer to insure a home that's got polybutylene. Some companies will insure the home but exclude the water damage caused by the breaking or popping of a polybutylene pipe. So it's very important, if you do have it, honestly, to have the house replumbed.
And Pam, I know that when you're working with a client, either a buyer or seller, asking about the type of plumbing and seeing what's in the South Carolina property disclosure is pretty important, right?
Correct, yes. And you would want to have a home inspection too. A home inspector should be able to tell you what type of piping you have.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. So home inspections, when we look at, you can have your traditional home inspector do a bunch of different things. When you look at the roof, nothing wrong with getting a roof inspection, especially depending upon the age and the type of construction, type of shingle. And then we've got both for stucco, if you have a stucco home, stucco inspector, and then the required state inspection. So there could be up to 4 different inspectors coming through a house, but those are all designed to both protect the buyer and the seller. However, there's some things that happen before somebody may have bought a home. And that's where what's known as a clue report is very important in the process. Karen, can you talk about this last item, the clue report?
Clue report, clue stands for Comprehensive Loss Underwriting Exchange, where the insurance companies share with each other prior losses that occurred on a property or the owner of a property. So if you have a home maybe that's had 3 prior water claims, an insurance company may choose not to insure it because they deem it a sick home, and it's pretty much guaranteed that unless the house is replumbed, another loss is going to occur. It also lets a purchaser of a home know that if there especially has been a prior water loss or a fire loss where we know there's been a lot of water and moisture in the house, to make sure it was mitigated properly and that we don't have a mold issue. So it's very important for a company to know prior losses that occurred to make that home insurable for the new buyer.
No, it's great to know. Let me wrap it up on this note. Pam and I are both licensed real estate professionals. We are both actually realtors here in South Carolina. Karen, as a licensed insurance agent, both in North Carolina and South Carolina, we rely and we are trained every year. But we think it's important with this series that we're kicking off here with this topic. There's a lot of things that go into insurance and insuring your home. And for most people, your home is your most important asset and your most valuable asset. As we move forward with this series, we'll be talking about other things, including renting out your home or leaving your home vacant. What are some things that you need to know about storm season? Both how do you prepare, as well as what are some coverage limitations? But we appreciate your time today. We're glad you were able to join us. And please feel free to leave comments here in the YouTube chat or on the Facebook post. We are happy to answer questions about any of the topics we discussed today. And however we can help, we are glad to try to bring the right professional to get you the information you need. Thank you for watching and have a great day.